an image game being played here, right? The company is trying to clean out their non-essential management people while at the same time blaming the Teamsters Union and our new contract for this happening.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Norm out of Local 623 in Philadelphia and Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston. And we're covering a couple things. First we're going to cover the 12,000 employees that have been laid off. That's big news. We hear it everywhere. I hear it. Even, people see me with the uniform and everything. What's going on with this? So we're going to dig into that. The other thing we are going to dig into is, what do we have to expect out of this? Is there going to be some harassment coming our way? We'll get into that. But so let's first, the 12,000 employees being laid off. I'm going to throw this to Norm. Norm, what's going on with all this?
It's not union members that are being displaced. It's contractors. It's management people that aren't part of the operation, for what I'm told. The advertising staff, certain office staff that basically serve no function, from what I'm told. If they're duplicating the job and it's 2 or 3 people doing it, 2 or 3 people are going and only one's going to stay. From what I'm told, it's not our members. If anyone knows anything different, they definitely need to speak up if our members are being affected.
All right. So with that being said, we're hearing reports that some shifts are being shut down with the layoffs and everything else. In Philadelphia, you're experiencing some of that right now where the midnight sort is being shut down. Can you kind of expand on that?
Okay, so at our Oregon Ave facility, we lost the midnight sort. That workers are farmed out to different facilities all around us: Westchester, Willow Grove, Lawnside, and a few other buildings. That EZRPA, that Monster Hub. And at our PHL location, some of the sorts that we lost are our day ramp operations and our day shift operations. So, it's hitting hard, but we lost these operations back in August of 23, around that time.
So, Greg, I'm going to throw this to you. With all these layoffs going around, obviously it's management. Is this something that we should be concerned about as members?
Well, I think the first thing that people have to realize is that an image game being played here, right? The company is trying to clean out their non-essential management people while at the same time blaming the Teamsters Union and our new contract for this happening, which is garbage. That's not even remotely true. But we are going to face layoffs. Some places are facing layoffs already. Obviously, anytime we face layoffs, the company wants to put some people on the street, reduce the cost of labor. So I would expect increased harassment. I would expect increased rides. I would expect a lot of sweeping garbage discipline just to get people on warning letters. I would expect, just day-to-day BS from this company. But I would advise members, not to start acting afraid and not to start playing to the harassment, but to do what they're supposed to do and to stand together and to enforce their contract.
All right. Norm, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah. One thing that we have to do is we have to protect our work, protect our jobs. Supervisors working is one of the main things. I know we talk about it on your channel all the time, but if the members aren't protecting their jobs, no one else will. If you're in a building and a supervisor is helping you, or we got to hustle because the sort's going down. This truck has to pull, this plane has to block out. That's a UPS problem, not our problem. I will say this in front of management, and I do it all the time. I tell them we get paid by the hour, not by the piece. We are not machines. Even machines break down. You can't hustle and bust your ass every day to make a deadline, an artificial deadline that a supervisor has made. If they want you to succeed, they have to put you in a position to succeed. Pace yourself. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And you have to grieve and address every single time that you see management working. If a supervisor works, we are just giving UPS, and we know they're big on data and metrics. We're giving them the information that they need to say, okay, we can remove one more Teamster because management is going to get paid regardless if they touch a package or not. We have to protect our jobs and keep them from doing our work.
All right, Greg, we're talking about management, maybe telling us to go faster, faster, faster. If you haven't seen it already, all the drivers watching this right now, I think everybody's familiar with the word over loud. As a member, as a driver, when you're getting approached about over loud and you're just feeling like the pressure's on you, how should you handle yourself?
Well, I wouldn't give it any credence whatsoever. Those numbers are garbage. It would be no different if I came up to you and said, gee, David, yesterday you were 16. We really need you to be a 22, and walked away. Those numbers are meaningless. They don't mean anything without any context. I like to call it the secret formula for Coke. They pull these numbers out of a hat. To quick story, there was one point where I was the worst driver in the division, 2.5 hours paid over, center manager screaming at me every day. And then it was, we're OJS and you next week, we're going to put a stop to this, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, over the weekend, the IE team came in and retimed the routes. And I went out the following Monday, did the same job, the same way I always did, and scratched the route. It's junk. It's garbage. Don't put any stock in their numbers. Your job is to go out there and work to the best of your ability, follow the methods, and work safely, and go home to your family. If anybody wants to talk to you about numbers, first thing you do is say, I want my steward. And the second thing you do is tell them exactly what I just said. There's no reason to put any credence into that garbage at all.
Norm, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Okay.
Now, everything that Greg said is 100% correct. Nowhere in our methods, and we all know, we have the 8 keys, the five steps, 8 keys, the 10-point commentary. Nowhere in there is there over loud. Nowhere in there is SPOR. Nowhere in there is a backup, how many times you backed your truck. And that's part of those artificial numbers that UPS puts on drivers. And it's going to cause, I've seen it, it's causing people to have accidents. Oh, I can't back up so many times. So they make poor choices and wind up getting into a situation where they should have just backed the truck. I don't care if you got to back 30 times in a day. If it keeps you safe, do it. I'm not telling anyone to slow down. I'm telling you to protect yourself. SPOR is not a work method. Over loud is not a work method. Backing counts is not a safe work method. These are things that put pressure on you and can potentially cause you to do something that can get you in a lot of trouble, can hurt you, can cause you to have an accident. You should be safe every day. But when you're worrying about, I have to hit this number, you're going to run. If you feel as though you're behind, you're going to hurt yourself. If you find yourself, I can't be over loud, you're going to move faster. You're going to do something that you really shouldn't do and possibly have an accident. You're going to do something worried about trying to hit these metrics that UPS has that mean absolutely nothing.
Speaking of which, we've seen a lot of people get in accidents at this job, and some people got into some serious accidents, and I've seen some very catastrophic accidents. You got to understand, if you get in a serious accident, like, for instance, if you get in an accident, you don't report it, you lose your job, right? If you get in an accident, you report it, you get a warning letter. If you get in a serious accident, like a super serious accident, not only can you get fired, but it can destroy your life, So you just got to understand that it's good to pace yourself. It's good to find your groove and just work by the methods and work the way you were trained. And don't let this stuff really get to you, because yeah, it's great. Maybe you can get away with it 1, 2, 3 days. But once the day that it's going to happen where you're driving way too fast and you get in that serious accident, and it's going to cost you not just your career, but your life. Now, I feel kind of crazy wearing this and saying that, but here we go. Anyways, we're going to get into, if you have not done so already, follow 623 Lives Matter, Facebook, Instagram, all social medias. And be sure you follow the Greg Kerwood runs the 401k page. I'm going to link that. He has no idea which one I'm going to link every single time I bring him on. I just pick one out of the hat, and this is the one I'm going to go with. So there you go, Greg. All right. So before we close it out, if you have not gotten enough of Greg Kerwood and his loud mouth, you can go check out the TDU hunting season call. I'll link it down below. It's a great video. More information to help protect you. So that's all I got. Love you guys. See you next time.